let's quickly jump into these upcoming fights, starting with the Wednesday card, which is very exciting, by the way. I'm so happy MMA is back, and if you start to sprinkle in those midweek cards, I mean, that's amazing. That's just a little cherry on top, and it's a good card. All on ESPN Plus, so if you don't have that, you're shit out of luck, but just get it, man. It's worth it. At least get the trial for this card. But there's some real talent here. You know, Chase Sherman, who we haven't heard from in a while, he's finally returning to the UFC after going 3-0 with a promotion called Island Fights. Brian Kelleher, who is always exciting. He's got a pair of Performance of the Night bonuses, a Fight of the Night to his name. Michael Johnson's on the prelims of this card, just kind of sneaking in there. I almost missed him. You know, he's fighting a tough guy in Thiago Moises. 12-4, yet to really string together a consistent win streak in the UFC, but Michael Johnson will probably be his toughest test yet, so that was interesting for both guys. You know, save for maybe Beneil Dariush. He fought Beneil Dariush a little while ago, lost to him, but that should be a good fight. Plus, Andrei Arlovski versus Felipe Lenz at heavyweight. That's somehow in the prelims too, although, to be fair, what's the difference between, you know, the prelims and the main card when it's all on ESPN Plus? But whatever, the main card's stacked too. I like every one of these fights. Quick shout out to recurring guest Drew Dober. He's looked fantastic lately. 2 fast first round finishes, both about a minute into the fight. And the odds are nearly split on that fight. The odds are nearly split on all of these main card matchups, which is usually a sign of great matchmaking. The co-main event is very interesting to me, mostly because it involves Ovince St. Preux moving up to heavyweight for the first time. This is a guy who's been in this sport for a long-ass time. 20 fights in the UFC, 7 fights in Strikeforce before that, and 10 fights in smaller promotions. Every single one of those fights was at light heavyweight. Well, with the exception of one, because his opponent missed weight, and they decided to do it at a 210-pound catch weight. But at this point, for OSP to move up to heavyweight at 37 years old after all these fights, I'm curious to see what that looks like. He's fighting Ben Rothwell, who is just a big-ass human, and the dude just knocked out Stefan Struve in December, so it's not like, you know, he's some washed-up fighter. It's going to be a tough test, but OSP should match up well. He's only a half inch shorter than Big Ben. He actually has a slight reach advantage over him. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to that one. Finally, the light heavyweight matchup between Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira. The main event, Connecticut's own Glover Teixeira, born in Brazil, but he's lived in Danbury for over 20 years now. Glover's been quietly amassing an impressive win streak. He went 3-0 in 2019, including 2 submission victories and a Performance of the Night bonus. He's still sitting at an impressive 30-7 overall, and he's really only lost to the best of the best. You know, John Jones and Phil Davis in 2014, Rumble Johnson in 2016, Alexander Gustafsson in 2017, and Corey Anderson in 2018. The other losses came super early in his career. I don't think it's fair to count fights from 2002 and 2005, so I won't. Glover, you know, he's still a dangerous guy. He's still a very dangerous fighter. And you've got Anthony Pettis on the other side of the coin, who came up short in his fight against John Jones, just like everybody else does. But don't forget how he got that shot. He went 6-0 with 5 knockouts and a submission over some of the best guys in the division. And then after he lost to Jones, he responded with a submission victory over Alexander Gustafsson, which effectively retired Gus. Gus retired in the ring after that fight. So these guys are both still very much contenders, and I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. I wouldn't at all be surprised with a stoppage here. And just think, there's another card 3 days after that. It's all so exciting.